So I am just going to share my screen as well. All right, can everyone see my screen all right? Okay, great. So yeah, this webinar is all about navigating meals and nutritional services within Washtenaw County. We have three guest speakers today, so they will be speaking on the unique services that their org offers. But before we get into that, I just wanted to have a brief introduction to the topic. So first, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Callie. I am an intern in the CARES department, which falls under the WISE umbrella at Jewish Family Services of Washtenaw County. So the organization itself has a lot of different branches, but the WISE branch specifically deals with the older adult population, and CARES specifically, we work with caregivers to try to connect them to any additional supports they may need. So we go through different assessments to gauge caregiver burden, and then we'll help them with things like respite services, education. We have a number of support groups, caregiver consultations, and all sorts of other things for them. And so just getting into today's agenda in terms of our speakers, we will have a representative from Washtenaw County Meals on Wheels in the Senior Cafe program speaking. We'll also have a member of our organization speaking towards our Nourish branch of the organization, as well as Wise Meals at Home. And then our final speaker will be giving us some information about the services that are offered from food gatherers. So just a brief overview of the needs specifically within Washtenaw County. So as of 2025, our rates of food insecurity have risen to 14%. Additionally, 6% of the Washtenaw County adults over the age of 65 are living below the poverty level. And for those adults that are over 65, their SNAP benefits make up about 6% of their annual income. Nationally, we see about 1 in 10 older adults experience food insecurity, and this food insecurity is actually linked to higher hospitalization rates, and we see poorer health outcomes. In addition to all of this nutritional information and how SNAP plays a role, the cost of living in Washtenaw County is also about 17% higher than the national average. So there's a big need in this community for some supplemental support in terms of nutrition. I also wanted to talk a little bit about what has been happening and what will be happening in terms of SNAP benefits. So the cost of groceries, I'm sure we've all felt this, has increased significantly over the past 5 years. The numbers on this are at a rate of 30% over the past 5 years. With the government shutdown that we're experiencing, many people are seeing delays, pauses, or partial payments of their SNAP benefits. So this increases their need to go to places that offer additional nutritional support, including food pantries, at some of these orgs that we will highlight today. Coming down the pipe in January 2026, we have the Big Beautiful Bill, which will introduce new work requirements for SNAP recipients. So that will obviously create some issues in terms of access. In Michigan alone, over 1.3 million residents receive SNAP benefits. So it's a large portion of our population here. And when we see the introduction of work requirements, we also see the loss of benefits for thousands of eligible individuals, and it doesn't exactly improve employment outcomes. And that's data from 2024. So that is just a brief introduction in terms of the subject for today. So I will now turn it over to our first guest speaker, and that will be Marty from Washtenaw County Meals on Wheels.
Thank you so much. I'm going to try to, oh, it won't let me share my screen.
It might, if you try, it might allow me to share it with you. 1 second. Or I can potentially make you a host.
It says only the host can share.
Okay, let me get out of this. Hey, so I just made you a co-host. See if that works.
All right. Yes, it should.
And I will stop sharing my screen as well.
All right, come on. Can you see my screen now?
I cannot see your screen, unfortunately.
Hmm. Okay. Still can't.
No.
All right. Let me go back to Zoom. Share. Now can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Funny little thing you have to do in Zoom. You didn't know it, that you didn't know you. All right. So thank you so much. My name is Marty Popick. I run the senior nutrition program for Washtenaw County. Currently, there are two programs in senior nutrition. We have Meals on Wheels, or our home delivered meal program, and we have senior cafes. Formerly, they were called congregate meal programs. If you want more access or more information about these individual programs, you can go out to washtenaw.org, SNP. It will take you to our website and you can find out all kinds of information. I'm going to actually take you out there in just a minute to show you more information. But I wanted to let you know that menus for our meals have to meet the requirements of 1/3 of an older adult or an older person's daily nutrition requirements. They are approved by a third-party dietitian from Ageways. It used to be called AAA1B. Those are a requirement because described in the 1950s, and they are set by the USDA. You know that that's a requirement. Qualifications for the program, as that you have to be 60 years or older. There are no other qualifications. There's no income qualification, nothing. The only requirement for these programs are that you have to be 60 years or older. Funding for these programs come from the federal government through the Older Americans Act, and it passes through AAA1B, now called Ageways. There's also recently been new funding that was approved in November of 2024 through the Washtenaw County's Older Persons Millage. And we're going to see some changes to the program based on that funding that you'll be seeing is coming available in the next quarter next year that we're very excited about. I'll talk a little bit about those in a few minutes. Oops. So there's two flyers that are available. One is this one here. It's the Senior Nutrition Senior Cafe programs. We currently have programs at the Dexter Senior Center in Dexter, Chelsea Senior Center, Jewish Community Center, Lincoln Golden Ages. That's at Brick Elementary and West Willow. We have Laurie Terrace Apartments in Ann Arbor, Manchester Senior Citizens Center. That's the new center that's in Manchester. Northfield Township Community Center, Turner Wellness Center, Ypsilanti Senior Center. It is currently closed right now, but they should be opening within the next month. And the Ypsilanti Township Community Center. So those are our current cafes where people can go in and get a meal. We do ask that they call ahead of time and schedule a meal or reserve a meal. And those meals are free of charge. They do have a requested donation of $3 to $5.50 per meal, whatever the senior would like to pay. But again, if they're unable to pay, everybody receives a meal regardless of ability to pay. So they should go in and receive a meal if they're 60 and over. And if they're under 60, people are invited can pay for a meal and receive a meal for $6.50 per meal. Come on. Then is our Meals on Wheels or home delivered meal program. We cover all of Washtenaw County. So every resident within Washtenaw County, if they qualify for a medical need to have a home delivered meal, then they can receive a meal in Washtenaw County through our home delivered meal program. Our providers for that are Ann Arbor Meals on Wheels, Dexter Senior Center, Chelsea Senior Center, Jewish Family Services, Milan Seniors for Healthy Living, Northfield Township Community Center, and Ypsilanti Meals on Wheels. I do want to show you our website because I want to show you how you can determine how to go out and find your provider and how to contact them. If you go out to our website, it all works usually. Here's our little map. But if you want to find a Meals on Wheels provider, you put an address in right here. You put your home address in. So we'll put in mine. It'll find me on the map. It should find me on the map. And it'll tell me it should tell me, and it's not working, so I apologize. I might be having internet connection problems. But if that doesn't work, there's actually also a way to come over here and do this participant registration form. People can fill that out. They fill out that participant registration form. That information gets sent to us at OCED. We contact your provider, and they will actually then contact you and make sure that you qualify for services, and they will hook you up and make sure that you get the meals that you qualify for. So does anybody have any questions?
Do you have anything for Celine?
Celine is covered for for home delivered meals. Celine is covered by Jewish Family Services for their home delivered meals. And currently we do not have a cafe in Celine, though that will be an area that we are hoping to cover with the new millage to get a new site in Celine.
Okay.
Is there a cost for the Meals on Wheels?
The Meals on Wheels are again $3 to $5.50 per meal requested donation, but again, nobody's going to be turned away for the inability to pay.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other questions for Marty? All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and for giving us some helpful information about all that you do. So thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it.
Sure. And my contact information is at the bottom of these flyers. And our flyers are also available on the website. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to call me.
Yeah, and I will also be sending out some resources to everyone who has signed up for the webinar. So if you don't write something down from the webinar, I'll be able to send you that information as well. So don't worry about getting all this information right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So now we will be talking about services that we offer through our organization with Jewish Family Services. So I will turn it over to Chrissy.
Hello, all. Kelly, thank you so much for arranging this. And Marty, she and I talked earlier today. I was like, maybe I can pull out a PowerPoint. It didn't end up happening. So no PowerPoint, just my charming face and lots of information. So my name is Chrissy Taylor, and I am the Senior Director of Jewish. I'm a Senior Director at Jewish Family Services, overseeing community assistance, which includes what we call Nourished Nutrition Services, which is a brand that we use to describe all of our nutrition programming. So it's really great to be in this call because we work a lot with Marty and her team over there at OCED, and we also work a lot with Rolanda and her team over at Food Gatherers. So just a background, as Kelly kind of talked about, so Jewish Family Services has been around for over 30 years. And ever since the beginning, feeding our clients has been something that we've done. And we started off with our executive director, who was actually our first intern at JFS. Always used to have a shelf in her office that had food in it because nobody should ever leave hungry. When I began with JFS 7 years ago, we prided ourselves, and we still pride ourselves, that we have a specialty food pantry. So the specialty food pantry helps. Specialty food pantry helps to feed people with special needs. So that includes people that maybe have religious preferences. So maybe you keep a kosher diet. Maybe you are halal, maybe you need liquid nutrition. The thought is that just because you need to use a food pantry doesn't mean you should have to set aside your medical needs or your cultural or religious beliefs. So we've always kind of had a food pantry. Now our food pantry is run in conjunction with the Emergency Food Assistance Program, which is called TFAP. And that is a program that has helped to be administered from food gatherers. So the way it works is food gatherers is the food bank, and the food bank gives food to the food pantry, and the food pantry gives the food to the clients that come to the food pantry. So that's kind of how that works. Now, in the state of Michigan, every state can be different on what they require for TFAP. I'm not going to take away Rolanda's thunder, so I'm not going to get too much into the weeds about that. But if you say you have an emergency food need, you can qualify for food. And we will give food to anybody who lives within Washtenaw County. And if you come to us and you're from Belleville or from Van Buren, we will provide you food, but then we will also make sure that you get resources for your area, which is Wayne County. So we still continue to have a specialty food pantry. We currently do some modified deliveries on Tuesday for people with medical needs, and we have an open curbside every Thursday from 11 to 4 p.m. So you kind of just show up in your car and someone will come out and make sure that you get the food that you need. We always have halal meats, we always have kosher meats, we always have cultural sensitive items, including spices, which tends to be something that people long for on their food, but is not necessarily always seen at every single food pantry. We also oversee the Y Center at the J, which Marty talked about. So that is at the Jewish Community Center. So our Y staff, which Callie and Roberta are a part of, and Sarah as well, they go to the Jewish Community Center, and we offer a kosher meal, and that is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and also some programming. So there's mahjong, there's videos, there's presentations. They do a pretty great programming down there. Again, you don't have to be Jewish to attend. Just know that the meal that you're going to have is going to be vegetarian because of the kosher rules of the kitchen that are there. So that is a great program, and we've been really excited to see that program grow in a time when some congregate meal programs have shrunk. Ours has actually grown, and it's really in part to the wonderful staff that are there and making sure that it's fun for everyone involved. As Marty said, we are a Meals on Wheels provider. So we started becoming a Meals on Wheels provider during COVID, during that first summer of COVID of 2020, when the Area Agency on Aging, which is now known as Ageways, kind of opened the criteria because basically every senior was homebound at that point, and we needed more providers. So we provide meals, as Marty said, to the Saline area, and then to clients who also receive some of our other wraparound services. So some of our WISE clients and some clients that we've just served now for 5 years. So we've continued to serve them. Meals on Wheels is great. It's not just necessarily a meal. It's also a wellness check. There's been many times, I think every single Meals on Wheels provider has found a client in a medical emergency because of their ability to come and check on them while they're in their home, and to be able to alert people. Just today, we had somebody who wasn't home. So then, of course, I have to call the emergency contact and making sure that everything is okay. And it's just part of the process that we have with Meals on Wheels. We also offer a kosher Meals on Wheels. So that is kind of currently outside of Marty's programming. And we get those meals, we source them from the National Council of Jewish Women. in West Bloomfield, and we bring those down weekly for our GLOT kosher clients. And if you're not familiar, GLOT kosher is an observant kosher person whose meals need to make sure that they meet the specific kosher needs. And in order to do that, so we have a kitchen, which I'll get into in a second. You would really almost need to have two separate kitchens because of the way that you can't mix certain foods items together. But there are different caterers that are inside of Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne County that do offer that. And so we get the meals from there. We 2 years ago decided, like, why not? Actually, 3 years ago, we were like, why not build a commercial kitchen? We had nothing better to do. So we built out a commercial kitchen that has been open now for about 2 years. So now we make all of our own Meals on Wheels on site with our own registered dietitian who looks over them, our own cook who makes them, our own staff and volunteer who package them and get them out the door. And so we provide our Meals on Wheels and also Meals on Wheels to a lot of the other a lot of the other providers that Marty was showing you. We provide those folks meals as well. And then starting in this last summer, we are now providing meals, not necessarily for older adults yet, for people who have managed Medicaid health plans who qualify for what they call an in lieu of services, which helps to cover medically tailored meals or healthy home delivered meals that go to people's homes. We also, for our specialty food pantry, we use a software called Order Ahead. It's through Feeding America, and it allows people to order their groceries online. We like the idea of giving people a little bit more choice, a little bit more dignity. And also, I'm a big believer that if I can't order it online, I don't want it. I order everything in my life online. So understanding the kind of targeting a different demographic of people too. So at JFS, we're always looking for new and innovative ways to feed people. We truly believe that a local-based intervention is the best intervention. That by supporting us, you're also supporting the local economy. And I think we'll continue to see it grow. I know that last Thursday, we saw a record number of curbside. We saw 130 people come through our curbside, which is almost double what we would have seen a year ago because of the SNAP uncertainties. Although it sounds like they're releasing them now, but earlier today they weren't releasing them, and yesterday they weren't whole. So there's a lot of uncertainty. And Callie, I know, referenced that SNAP, government shutdown or not, we know SNAP is facing some changes, and we know that we're going to lose people that probably desperately need SNAP but can't meet the bureaucracy that's going to be involved in having it. So there are very hungry people in our community. There are hungry people in Ann Arbor. There are hungry people in Ypsilanti. There's hungry people in Manchester. There are hungry people everywhere. And also a lot of times for the folks that we provide food to, sometimes we can't help people with rent. We can't help people with utilities, but maybe we can offset your food bill a little bit so that some of those funds can go to those things as well. But there's a whole network of us that are all working together to try to make sure that we keep our community fed. And if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to me. I will put my email in the chat. But yes, it's fun to be kind of that, again, that final mile of a lot of what Marty and Rolanda do, that we get to be the ones to actually like deliver it to the folks who are in need. So, and another great thing about the programs in general is that a lot of times it's the door to other services. People get to know us, get to feel comfortable, and then they will start to use us for other services that we provide if they need them.
Chrissy, I have a question. When you talk about medically tailored meals, are you doing diabetic meals? Are you doing meals for people with high blood pressure? Are you doing people with celiac? What do you mean?
So we do, most of our meals are diabetic friendly and sodium controlled. So they're good for diabetes, and they're good for anybody with high blood pressure or congestive heart failure. We have a lot of gluten-free options. We have our kitchen manager has really turned most of our items into gluten-free items, just so that we didn't have to worry about making, because gluten sensitivity is something that we're seeing more and more of. Less than that, maybe necessarily in the older adults, but some of the younger folks that we work with. We also have vegetarian options because everyone tells you to be more plant forward. So we're trying to introduce folks to some interesting ways to eat plant-based. But yeah, so, and we are working on developing a renal diet. So people who are in some stage of kidney failure, it's a trickier diet to do because it goes against some of what the other diets tell us as far as when it goes whole grains and things like that.
Thanks.
I have a question. Are there any age restrictions? I know Meals on Wheels, it sounds like about 60 years old. What about Jewish Family Services?
So for our Meals on Wheels program, because we're under that same umbrella as Marty, so the way that it works is like there's federal money that comes through Ageways that then goes to the county, and then the county then subcontracts out to all of us. So for those meals, they're the same rules that we all have to follow. For the medically tailored meals and the healthy home delivered meals, so the difference between those two is a medically tailored meal involves a registered dietitian, and a healthy home delivered meal does not. Those are done via Medicaid. And so people have to reach out to their member services of their managed Medicaid plan and see if they qualify for it. If you want to learn more about that program, it's relatively new. You could just look up Michigan and in lieu of services, and there's a web page that has like just a wealth of information about the program.
Can you
Okay.
see that link?
Yes, I will put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Do we have any other questions for Chrissy at this time? All right. Well, thank you so much, Chrissy, again, for speaking with us today. I really appreciate it. And hopefully this was helpful for everyone in the chat. If you have additional questions, again, you can always email Chrissy or go on that webpage, or you can reach out to me and I can point you in the right direction. All right. And with that, we have our final speaker. So we have Rolanda from Food Gatherers.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rolanda Logan, Community Food Programs Coordinator from Food Gatherers. That is the food bank serving Washtenaw County, and have the pleasure of being on the call with one of our lovely partners, Jewish Family Services. Chrissy really covered some good points that we offer, but I'll share a little bit. I only have 2 slides, so if I can have access, please, Kelly. Not sure if I do, I can give it a try. Let's see. Looks like. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's see here. Okay, so this was the first slide I wanted to share with you guys. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we have staff that is taking what we call Find Food Calls Monday through Friday. That is a free resource to anybody that calls us directly. We are connecting them to a pantry, what we call a partner program. For example, Jewish Family Services. We can make referrals. So anybody who is in need of food, we are able to connect the dots based on where they reside by zip code throughout Washtenaw County, and can appoint them to a local food pantry, hopefully that they can get access to by car, bus transportation, or something we call a proxy pickup. That's when like a family member or neighbor is picking up on their behalf. So I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that, especially in the circumstances that we're in. We know that it's more timely where people are going to be ramping up pantry visits. We are still doing SNAP outreach, even with the uncertainties. And as Chrissy mentioned, a new update did just come out about within 30 minutes ago, saying that, I can just read it directly. MDHHS has directed its EBT vendors to once again begin uploading full November benefit payments for SNAP recipients. Those who normally receive benefits on the 9th of the month will receive them within 48 hours, and all others will receive them on their normal scheduled date. That sounds like great news. As we know, it's changed up and down within days. So hopefully that is where we're at now. Just Friday, we had a whole different thing that happened right before the weekend. So this is the latest, and that's what's updated on the website on DHS. So we're hoping that that is what will continue. We also have over 140 partner programs. Our goal is to fill the gap throughout the county. So that means we have plenty of pantries that are heavily within Ann Arbor and Ypsi zip codes. We also have pantries throughout Dexter, Chelsea, Manchester, Saline, a little bit of York Township. a pantry out in South Lyon that was kind of grandfathered in, and a few trickled throughout there. So we're hoping that with that, we're able to kind of touch everybody. We also have some group homes. In addition to, we're in the schools, and we're in what we call NGIs, which are our neighborhood grocery initiative programs. They're known as like the senior high rises. So those are closed for seniors, but they're able to get their groceries directly from their location. This year is something new for us that we did not have to do throughout previous shifts. Even with the pandemic, we didn't even have to adjust to this type of model, but we found that it was essential to do so. So we will be hosting pop-up distributions. We hosted our first one just this past Saturday. It went really well, and it is going to be at Briarwood. This is the exact address here, 100 Briarwood Circle. And if you're able to, you can scan the QR code to actually have more information directly on your phone. We will have 3 more dates that will be available: Wednesday, November 12th, Saturday, November 15th, and then the last one is going to be Wednesday, November 19th. Each one is at the same time from 9:30 to 11:30. It's going to be a drive-through distribution, no registration required. And then you're going to receive what we call like a emergency box. It will be an item of shelf-stable items, milk and produce. This here is designed where at most pantries, clients might be used to what was mentioned as the TFAP USDA program, the Emergency Food Assistant Program, or the United States Department of Agriculture programming. We're eliminating those foods so we don't have to do a more detailed intake. We wanted to keep it simple so people can just kind of expedite through the line, since we know it will be lots of cars. And we're allowing up to, per car, you can pick up for 3 households. So that's the max. We're serving until we run out, and we'll host them on those 3 dates. Wanted to take a moment to see if there were any questions. Okay.
I'm sorry, just so I'm clear. So that's, you just pop in just like it says, like you don't need to pre-register for that. Those dates are there and you'll be there handing out boxes of food for families.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. No pre-registration required. Just coming and we will get you served.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Lastly, I just wanted to mention that we have shifted with what is continuing to happen. We're keeping our ears to the floor. So right now what we're doing is we're providing more food to our partner programs in hopes that they have enough to meet the needs. We're just anticipating that it will be higher numbers, like was mentioned. So we haven't seen the uptick just yet, but I'm sure our partners have. And as we collect the data through our Link to Feed programs, which track client participation in our paper sites that send it into us, we will see throughout November that it was definitely a surge. So that is what we're doing on our end at Food Gatherers. When it comes to USDA TFAP, we did have a tremendous cut earlier this year of about 15%. We still have not seen like the ripple effect of that because TFAP and USDA products are ordered so much in advance. We still have enough to get us through the end of this year. What it looks like as we go into 2026, that's where it gets a little in a gray area. So we are continuing to purchase more food and ramp that up in replacement of the gaps that we're seeing from USDA TFAP products not coming through as they would. Trying to see here, what else I can say for you guys. In addition to any other questions that might come up, we know the holiday seasons are also busy when lots of people ask about turkeys, Thanksgiving baskets. We do have some partners that are still assisting with that. The best thing to do is to have them just call us directly so we can make what we call in-house referrals to those who might be able to assist still. lists are filling up quickly, as it is just almost a week and a half away, but we can do our best to try to assist those neighbors in need. And we're just here to help and to assist with filling in the gaps. So it was pretty brief, but those are really the essential things that we're doing. We're really grateful for our partner programs, couldn't do it without them. They're really boots on the ground. So I can pass it back over.
All right. Thank you so much, Rolanda. I appreciate that and all that Food Gatherers is doing to fill in the gaps, as you said. With that being said, does anyone have any final questions for any of the guest speakers today? All right. If questions do come up, again, you can always send an email out to me and I can direct you towards the right person or agency. I will be sending out a resource guide to everyone that signed up, and I also have recorded this. So if you need to reference that at any point, just let me know. But thank you all for participating and for speaking today. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.